Alright, this will be the first repair on the 2003 Toyota Highlander auction mystery vehicle. There's a couple of repairs that need to be made, but first we're going to do this rear brakes. So 14 millimeter here. Alright, so the bottom one wants to come out fine, but the top one is causing issues. So about this, we'll try this extractor socket kit. Seemed like it had good reviews. Never used them before, we'll give it a shot. Worked pretty well. They look like grips the bolt, chews it right up. Then I'll zoom in, but yeah, it worked pretty well. These are different. Lower and upper. So down to almost nothing. It's going to be a 17 millimeter on the back. 2 bolts there. Alright, inside this little dust cover. Alright, so just to show you how this works, I'm going to take the flat edge like that up against the little gear inside. I'm going to push, or no, I'm going to push down. I'm pushing the gear towards the floor. It's in there like this, and I'm turning it down like that. So it's loose. Now if I were to turn this the other way, eventually it's going to stop. That's essentially what your parking brake does. So I'm going to go back the other way. And you'll hear the spring. You're doing it correctly. You'll feel the gear turning. Alright, so that's loose. Give it some release. That came off surprisingly easy. Sometimes it doesn't come off with sides, but you can screw into there and that will force it off as well. So if you look, right there is what you're turning. And that's either spreading the parking brake shoes out or bringing them in. All right, so this has to come off, and you can see you get the 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that gotta come out. It looks like it's 17 millimeter. So I hit that with a few good whacks, and when it fell, ripped that out. So we'll have to replace that wiring up into there. Wasn't too bad. WD-40. So when you go to, this might be sticking. Obviously you can see some rust around there. So when I hit it, I wasn't supporting it. So when it fell, it just ripped that connector right off. All right, the part number for the ABS sensor. All right, there's probably a smarter way to do that, but that's how we did it. Wooden block, try to keep equal pressure. I wish I had like a big sock to put over there. Just put even pressure all the way down, press it in, but it's not bad. So that all lines up, that'll go through. should sit flush, and then you see the sensor already should be poking out right there. That's where the new sensor is poking out right there. So if you do end up doing this yourself, don't be, excuse me, an idiot. Support this, or you support the sensor wires before you start hammering on this and it drops off. There's no shield to take out. So online I found something that said something about a deck assembly. Finally figured out what that was. That's this entire piece. It's kind of a pain in the butt. If you look down there, there you see it down there. Right there, so you just unclip it, push it through, and there you go. These are the part numbers. Rock Auto happened to have the best deal on them. Then when it goes back on, just make sure you've got access to adjust the parking brake afterwards. So before I do this next step, the cap's going to come off the brake fluid reservoir. Then we will come down here. I'm going to use an old brake pad in there, right there, up against the piston of the caliper. I'm just going to use a C-clamp. And hopefully, this is a little wonky, but I think it's going to work. So we're just going to start compressing that piston back in to all right, so if you have to end up replacing the ABS wire, there's your part number. It comes with the new grommet. That's going to go into the body there, and it comes with new metal brackets, so you don't have to save those off of the old one. All right, so that's fished through the body there. New grommet, and it has new brackets. Come through the body there. 10 millimeter there. Come with new brackets there. 10 millimeter down there. And then right down there is where the sensor plugs in. All right. Next, we're going to pry out all the old stuff.
It's ready to go back on.
All right, so this can go back together. Just put a little grease on. Let me see from this angle. Grease the slides right there. Do not get it on any of the braking surfaces. That would be a bad idea. These get torqued down to 79 foot-pounds. You have to replace these slide pins. There's your part number. This one with the these you really shouldn't use an impact like I just did. It's only 25 foot-pounds to tighten these down. So normally the last step would be to bleed the brakes, but this has some outstanding ABS issues. Supposedly you're supposed to use some Toyota Tech Stream or something to bleed it. There's a method to it. I want a professional to look at it and just see overall what the braking system's doing, and to do bleed all the brakes and get their opinion on it. But yeah, this side is done. back to the parts store. Not a whole lot of life left in those. That snapped off in there. So we're gonna have to figure out a way somehow. This boot does come off. So maybe there's enough on there with some more heat. Maybe some WD-40 will get that to come out. And some vice grips. This mounting bracket's about 70 bucks, so if we can get that out, that would be ideal. So I use these Irwin bolt extractors on the other side. There's not a whole lot, it's just almost a shear bolt. That was not pretty, but that worked. The end where the pin broke off, there's some type of rubber that maybe goes around the pin with a notch in it. So if you're trying to get that out, maybe heat would not be the best option back there. Put the boots back on.